Well, Gervin Vittles is in court today while Aviva Mtili is at the command centre. That's 5 kilometres from court, where some members of the community will be protesting. So let's get an update from then. And Gervin, let's go to you first. How's it going to play out today? What are the expectations?
The bail application continues this morning, Jane, and we're expecting the investigating officer in this case to be subjected to cross-examination. Unfortunately, those parts of the bail application have not been permitted to be broadcast live, but shortly thereafter there should be closing arguments from the state as well as the defense in this bail application, and we'll certainly be bringing that live. But today we should hear more about the state's case, particularly from the investigating officer, and we expect him to be grilled on his claims that there is substantial evidence that not only are these two accused linked to the murder of Brendin Horner, there is also evidence that was found which links them and suggests that they may indeed have been the people who killed the young 21-year-old farm manager. And then we're also expecting to hear a little more about claims that the accused had been boasting about assaulting farmers just a day after the murder happened, and that they had lied about where they were at the time of the murder. These are all very important points, as of course the state is pushing not to have them released on bail. And we know that from last week there is concern among the police officer, the police minister, as well as the state security agency minister, about the implications of the pair being released on bail. So it looks unlikely that they will be released at this point, and the state's case appears to be very strong. That's at least according to the police minister, but we'll hear more about it from the investigating officer later on when court begins.
I think the difference is that you're at different locations. Similarities, though, is the heavy police presence. Avi, where looking at the images behind you, we could see the police presence there because, I mean, that's the location where some of the farmers are expected to be present, I understand, as they continue with their protest today ahead of this court appearance today.
Well, I actually left the command center some 10 minutes ago where there wasn't a single farmer inside. It's fairly quiet there. I'm back in town at the Senekal town, just 500 meters from the court, where the police are already preparing for the unknown. A heavy police presence this side of town, with about 24 police vehicles, with some police nyalas as well. If you go closer to the court, you'll see the police nyala ready with the barbed wire there just to cordon off the court should anything happen. But in and around the town itself, it's quite quiet. I was at the command center just earlier on where there wasn't even a single farmer on site. It seems today is going to be fairly quiet. Similar situation that we saw yesterday as accused number 2 charged for the riots that we saw on October 6th, the initial riots when the 2 accused appeared for the first time. When he appeared at the Senekal Magistrates Court, he was granted bail of 15,000 rand, but also there it was fairly quiet. Only the family present. It looks like it might be a peaceful day here today, but the police are already preparing for whatever may happen.
And Gervin, I mean, obviously what comes out of here is incredibly important for farmers, their workers, and their general security around rural violence. I mean, it's been pretty bruising seeing the standoff between the farmers and the EFF, people wondering what the EFF has got to do there. So what's the message that needs to come out of the process that we're seeing today?
So what happens here is incredibly important, particularly for the relationship between the farming community and the justice cluster in South Africa. We know that there's been a breakdown in trust between the police and farmers in this area, and that's primarily because of the extent of stock theft, which has been rising, according to some farmers, within the last year, and which allegedly involves police corruption. We saw allegations of police being involved in stock theft, either facilitating it or protecting the people who were behind it, being handed over in a dossier to the police minister, Bheki Cele. And the minister undertook to not only investigate that seriously, but bemoaned the way in which stock thieves and those accused of attacking farmers or murdering farmers had gone through the justice system. We know that one of the accused in this matter had been arrested 16 times before. He had been convicted 4 times and sentenced 4 times, but had been out of jail within a period period of 18 months. And when the police minister met with the farmers, they voiced their displeasure at how the justice system processed one of these accused and how he ended up back on the farms and allegedly attacked Brendin Horner and murdered him. So the police minister has undertaken to build a more constructive relationship with the farmers. He's campaigning for this pair not to be released on bail, and this has certainly found fertile ground among the farming community. So were this pair to be released, it would undermine some of the work that Bekele has done and could possibly affect his plans to integrate some of the farmers' self-defense units into the police reservists and bolster their fight back against stock theft and farm attacks.
And I suppose when we have this conversation, I mean, it's very easy to look at the external variance, looking at the police minister, looking at the farmers who had been protesting, the EFF's presence and tensions there. But Avi, where I know that you actually had an exclusive conversation with Brendin Horner's father, perhaps give us some context there as to how even the family is directly impacted by not only this case, but by the death of their son.
Tumela, that was one of the most heartbreaking interviews I'd had to do in my journalism career, watching a father just heartbroken. He was there with the wife, Brendin Horner's mother, just distraught, both of them. Even the father, as he moved around, you could see mixed emotions coming through. You'd understand that he just lost his 21-year-old son. Even in the interview, when we actually spoke about it, he told me how he wished that had all happened to him, calling the perpetrators cowards initially, because attacking a young 21-year-old and just the brutality of it all. You understand that he's the one that found him on the 2nd of October. Following him being the last person to be with him, they were fixing his father's car on the 1st of October. And then he went home but never reached home. So he was panicking. After a frantic search in the morning, found him some 500 meters just away from the home. He was tied up with stabbed wounds, and the autopsy eventually detailing how the cause of death was strangulation as well. You can only imagine the emotions that were going through the father, saying that if the people want war, he's ready for war. But in all of that, he was calling for unity, saying that South Africans must unite in this land.
All right, then.
I mean, what's it going to take? Govan and Aviwe, thank you very much, for us to unite. I mean, hopefully something positive comes out of this. I mean, imagine losing your child. And this crime will only stop when we do unite.